Hello, FluentCast listeners, and welcome back to another episode. It's Diego here, and today we are diving into a topic that's got the whole world talking: artificial intelligence, or as the cool kids call it, AI. Now, before you start picturing robots taking over the world, let's break it down like we're just chatting over coffee. So, what exactly is AI? Think of it as a super smart computer program that learns, solves problems, and even chats with you. And guess what? You've probably used it today without even realizing it. Ever noticed how Netflix magically knows what show you'll binge next? Or how your phone autocorrects your text, sometimes in ways that make no sense? Yeah, that's AI at work. But here's the big headline. ChatGPT, the famous AI chatbot from the US, just got some serious competition. China has officially entered the game with a new AI called the DeepSeek, and let's just say the internet is freaking out. Some are even calling it the start of an AI Cold War. Dramatic, right? But is the hype real? Is the US really losing the AI race? And most importantly, what does this mean for you? That's what we're unpacking today, along with some useful English vocabulary. Oh, and before we jump in, do me a favor. If you're enjoying FluentCast, hit that subscribe button. That way, you won't miss an episode, whether you're on your morning commute or walking your dog. Plus, subscribing helps us grow, and I appreciate it. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. ChatGPT is like a super smart typing robot. You ask it a question, let's say, how do I make a cheesecake? And in seconds, it gives you a full recipe. Or maybe you're feeling poetic and you ask it to write a poem about the moon, boom, done. And yes, some people even use it for awkward situations like writing breakup texts. No judgment. The point is, it's an AI that understands language and responds in a way that sounds natural. ChatGPT was created by a US company called OpenAI, and let's be real, it's everywhere. Schools are using it for research, offices rely on it for emails and reports, and I wouldn't be surprised if grandma's book club is secretly using it to summarize novels. But now, there's a new player in town. Meet DeepSeek, China's latest AI superstar. DeepSeek was released just last month, and people are already shocked by what it can do. Why? Well, while ChatGPT is great at creative writing, coming up with stories, helping with essays, DeepSeek is outshining it in subjects like math and coding. Think of it like two students. ChatGPT is the artistic one who writes amazing essays and poems, while DeepSeek is the math genius solving equations before the teacher even finishes explaining. And here's the crazy part: DeepSeek isn't just a cool experiment for tech nerds, it's already being used in real-life situations. In Shanghai, hospitals are testing it to analyze X-rays faster than human doctors. In Beijing, city planners are using it to optimize subway schedules and cut down commute times. So, yeah, AI isn't just answering homework questions anymore, it's basically becoming a coworker. But wait, how does AI even work? Great question. AI learns by studying data, tons of it. ChatGPT, for example, has read millions of books, articles, and websites to sound more human. DeepSeek, on the other hand, was trained in both Mandarin and English, making it bilingual right from the start. It's kind of like raising a baby, but instead of teaching it by talking to it every day, you just feed it entire encyclopedias at lightning speed. Pretty wild, right? Oh, And since we're learning English while talking about AI, here are some useful phrases to know. Machine learning is the process where AI gets smarter over time by studying patterns in data. Imagine you're learning a new language. You start with basic words, then improve as you practice. That's how AI works, too. And then there's algorithm, which is basically a step-by-step process for solving problems, like a recipe, but for computers. So next time someone throws these fancy tech words at you, you'll know exactly what they mean. Now, let's delve into the so-called AI race between the US and China. For decades, the US has been at the forefront of technology with giants like Google, Apple, and Microsoft. However, China is investing heavily in artificial intelligence, aiming to lead globally by 2030. And truth be told, they're making significant strides. Last year, the US restricted China's access to advanced semiconductors, the tiny chips that power AI systems, to slow their progress. In response, China began developing its own chips and is now exporting them. It's like trying to slow someone down by taking away their tools, only for them to create even better ones. Some Western media outlets portray China's advancements as unfair or deceptive, but experts argue that this perspective is somewhat narrow-minded. Innovation isn't a zero-sum game. One country's progress doesn't necessarily come at the expense of another's. In fact, collaboration between nations could lead to significant advancements in AI applications, such as addressing climate change or managing pandemics. Interestingly, while the US is concerned about maintaining its lead, China is focusing on practical AI applications. For instance, Chinese authorities have utilized AI and 5G technologies to combat floods, enhancing their disaster response capabilities. Meanwhile, in the US, AI is being used to predict wildfire activity, allowing firefighters to allocate resources more effectively. Both countries are leveraging AI to address critical issues, albeit in different ways. So, here's a question for you. Would you trust AI to diagnose an illness, or do you prefer consulting a human doctor? If you're listening to FluentCast on Spotify or YouTube, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's be real. AI isn't perfect. It makes mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes reveal something even bigger. Take facial recognition AI, for example. Studies have shown that these systems often struggle with darker skin tones, misidentifying people at much higher rates than lighter-skinned individuals. That's called algorithmic bias, when AI absorbs human prejudices from the data it's trained on. And yeah, that's pretty alarming. Now, here's where things get interesting. China and the US are taking very different approaches to handling AI accountability. In China, AI used in hospitals or schools is required to explain itself. If an AI system makes a diagnosis or denies a loan, the person affected has the right to know why. No mysterious, just trust the algorithm nonsense. The US, on the other hand, takes a hands-off approach, letting companies regulate themselves. The result? AI that even its own creators don't fully understand. Like a student who gets an A on a test but can't explain how they got the answers. So, which is better, strict rules or total freedom? Honestly, I don't know. But one thing is clear, transparency matters. AI shouldn't be a black box. It should be like a teacher grading your essay, showing the rubric, not just slapping a B minus on it and walking away. And what about jobs? Will AI steal them all? Well, yes and no. It will replace some tasks, especially repetitive ones, but it's also creating entirely new careers like AI trainers, ethics auditors, and prompt engineers. So instead of panicking, maybe it's time to start learning how to work with AI, not against it. Alright, Fluent friends, let's wrap this up. Before we go, let's do a quick recap because repetition is key for learning, right? First, AI is like a super smart assistant that learns from data. You've got ChatGPT, the US chatbot that writes essays and jokes, and DeepSeek, China's new AI superstar that's acing math and coding. And here's the big takeaway: the AI race isn't about winners or losers. It's about how we use this tech to solve real problems like climate change or healthcare. Oh, and let's not forget ethics. Algorithmic bias is when AI copies human prejudices, like favoring one group over another. That's why transparency, being clear about how AI works, is so important. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you tried ChatGPT or DeepSeek? Do you trust AI? And hey, if you're thinking, Diego, I need to talk about AI in English for my job, your school, YouTube channel, guess what? Fluent English Academy is here to help. We'll teach you the vocab, the confidence, and the swagger to discuss any topic, yes, even robots. Link in the show notes. Finally, remember, tech is just a tool. We decide how to use it. Stay curious, stay critical, and keep practicing. See you next week.